Today I'm talking about my breast reduction. It's been 4 years since I've gotten it done, and I think it's so crazy. It'll be 4 years June 30th, but hey, it's technically 4 years. It's literally crazy. I just can't, but I just want to make a point of wearing this top and this bra with this video because these are two things I never saw myself wearing before my reduction. I never saw myself wearing tops like this that either didn't require a bra or needed a strapless bra, and I never saw myself wearing a strapless bra because I was so busty and they really weren't making bras for us busty girls, and here I am. Like, it doesn't make sense. So this video is definitely for you if you are looking towards getting a breast reduction, no matter your age, but especially if you're really young and you just don't know where to turn to, you're waiting for your parents' approval, what's going on, things like that, how to go about things, just things like that. When I was getting it done at 17, I didn't have anywhere to turn to when I was looking up breast reductions. Everything was for 30-year-olds and up. And they kind of recommend for you to wait until after you have had your kids, but I'll go over that later in the video. I do have my iPad here with all of my notes, so I will be looking over here and kind of talking off of this just because I want to make sure I hit everything in this video. This is really important to me, and I'm so excited I get to record this because 4 years just seems so crazy. It's unfathomable to me to even think that I even had the reduction, because I can't even think of how I physically felt before. I know I was in a lot of pain, and that pain will never really go away. It caused a lot of long-term physical damage I will always feel, but just the idea that a surgery that took away some fat off my chest helped with the majority of that pain is crazy to me. It just doesn't make sense. So let's just get into the video and just start talking about everything I need to talk about. Let's just go. So before I officially start, just real quickly, just a trigger warning to anyone who gets really gross or squeamish about blood or oozing or anything. I will not be showing pictures of that, obviously, but I will be discussing it just because no one really talked about that with me before my reduction. Obviously I knew there was gonna be blood and stuff, but I just never really no one told me or talked about it. I just knew really more about the scarring, so I will be discussing that in this video. So if you have any issues with that, you're warned, but if you are thinking about getting this reduction, this is a really important part of it, and I will be discussing it. So don't get too squeamish and just keep watching. So when I got my reduction, I was 17. I had just graduated high school. I had gone to see 2 different surgeons. The first one, he had me take off my bra, and he saw that I had indents in my shoulders from the bra, and he was like, at that moment I was in a sling because I had pulled something in my shoulder. It popped and I just couldn't move my shoulder. It hurt so bad, and we believe it was from just a mixture of tension in my shoulders, probably from my breasts. And he was like, yeah, these need to be taken off, this definitely needs to happen, but I can get you until October. And I was graduating within a few months of high school, so I needed it done sooner than that because I was planning on starting college and going to cosmetology school very quickly. So I needed it done ASAP. So he recommended us to someone he knew who was a surgeon. So we went and saw her, and she was like, I can get it done very quickly. When's your graduation? And I was like, well, my prom is next week, so can we do it now? I was so determined to just be done with it. I was so over them at that point. But of course we didn't. We waited till after my graduation. We had a huge graduation / birthday party because we knew I wouldn't be able to have a 18th birthday party due to my reduction. We didn't know how I'd be feeling at that point because my birthday is August 7th and we were getting the reduction done June 30th. So we didn't know, for recovery purposes, if I'd be okay to go have a birthday party at 18. So we just did it all at once. It was great. We had it sometime in June before my reduction. So many people were so excited for me because they knew about the reduction. A lot of people went and got me Victoria's Secret gift cards because they knew I'd finally be able to shop there after my reduction. It was literally so cute. Everybody was so adorable about it, and a lot of people were very happy for me, and it was awesome. People were just so sweet about it. So why I got the reduction? I was experiencing a lot of back pain. I have scoliosis in my upper back. I have a herniated disc in my lower back. I have some issues with my knees, but those are not related to my breasts. But those two things can cause a lot of pain for me, and my breast upper weight doesn't help. Having that weight and having to basically be forward all the time hurts my scoliosis. And then my herniated disc is not caused from my breast, it's caused from something else, but having that extra weight on top and any weight that can then hurt the discs, it does bother me. And then having, again, that front weight where I'm walking awkwardly because of my breast, because I have to do things awkwardly because of my breast, it will hurt my herniated disc, and I will be out and not be able to do things. I'll be laid up in bed because of what's happened. So I was going to physical therapy, and we were trying to figure out how to strengthen my back, strengthen my stomach and everything, so I wouldn't rely on my back, or I wouldn't rely on my knees. And we were doing so much, and someone had made a comment about my breasts and said I should get a reduction, and I didn't know really about that. I had always made jokes about it, but I had never really known it was like a real thing. And it was really inappropriate. It was in the middle. He said it very loudly in front of everyone, and my therapist there, she was like, shut up, go away, leave everybody alone. And I sat and pondered and thought about it for a very long time. I thought about it for a couple weeks, and I finally brought it to my mom. I was like, I want to talk about this, and I want to get this done. And she said she would support it if we could have the medical cover it. It is a big surgery. It is a lot of money. So I discussed it over with my physical therapist. I sat with her one night. We were supposed to be doing my exercises. We did all my stretches. She stretched out my back. I was in a lot of pain. She would always put her elbow in my back, and it hurt so bad, but then afterwards it feels so good. And she did all of that. And she's like, okay, get up, go do your stretches. I'm like, can I talk to you? And she's like, yeah. So we sat there, and literally my whole appointment was just us sitting there talking about reductions. And she's like, I can't tell you it will get rid of your pain, but I have had a lot of patients come through here with scoliosis and a lot of your issues who have then gone and gotten a reduction, gotten a few pounds off their chest, and have felt so much better. So she's like, we can start working towards putting into your papers that this would definitely help you. So I believe it would help you. I can't tell you it will definitely fix all of your problems, but it could definitely help. And I want to start putting that into your papers so your doctor can review it, and your doctor can then say, sure, let's try it. After a few visits, because she was a physical therapist assistant, so she would always work with me and then have to go get evaluated every 4 weeks by the actual physical therapist. I talked it over with him. He put it into the paperwork, writing in saying, I believe she should get a breast reduction. He was very sweet about it too. He wasn't the same person as the first one who was like, you should get a breast reduction from everybody. This was a totally different person. He was very sweet. And we had the appointment with my orthopedic. She walked in, and my mom was like, I don't know if she'll say yes. I don't know. She probably won't say it. She probably won't go for it. Whatever. We'll have to see. She probably won't accept it. We saw her assistant. We brought it up to her assistant. She's like, well, let me go ask her. My orthopedic came in, and she was like, let's do it. Why not? You've been in physical therapy for literally a year and a half. You've seen little to no progress other than maybe knowing that if your back is hurting, some stretches to do. You are in a massive amount of pain, and you are only 16, 17. It sucks. Let's try it. So she wrote it in. So then the medical would then the insurance would then have to cover it for me to just go see a surgeon. I was under chalk. So it's Children's Hospital. My mom's like, I highly doubt that the Children's Hospital would cover a breast reduction. And then we got the papers saying you can go see a surgeon. We were like, still, maybe after seeing the surgeon who says, yes, we should do it, maybe Children's Hospital will turn around and say, well, we're Children's Hospital. What does boobs have to do with this? They accepted it. So it was a huge thing. I was so excited. I literally told everyone I knew. I was walking around telling everyone I was so excited to get these things chopped off, and that was it. So how I felt after my reduction. So I took 2.4 pounds off each side, which is crazy to me. And I remember when I woke up and they were trying to get me out of the bed into a wheelchair to wheel me out because I was knocked out for I think 3 hours, and I was dizzy and gross, and I hadn't eaten in a long time because you're not allowed to eat before your surgery. I was totally grossed out, and I needed to get up. And when I got up, I looked at my mom. I was like, whoa, I can feel the weight off my shoulders. And she was like, Annisa, you're high off the drugs. Please just sit down. Please be careful. But I swear it wasn't because of the medication. It was, I could still feel it when the next day and the day after that, and I still feel it today, that I feel completely fine and I feel completely different. My shoulders are definitely not in as much pain. Obviously, I still have scoliosis and I still want to like this, I still have bigger breasts. I still want to sit like this and feel comfortable. But then I remember how my physical therapist said I looked like a question mark. And I'm like, I don't want to look like a question mark. So I'll sit like this. It definitely is better. And when trying to correct my posture before my reduction, I couldn't. I'd sit like this, sit up straight, shoulders back, and I'd be in a mass amount of pain because these were trying to bring me forward and I was fighting them and it was causing a mass amount of pain and I just really couldn't. We obviously strengthened my back to a point where I could at least sit more like this. Before I walked in, I was sitting like this. We got me to like this, and now with my reduction, I'm able to actually sit up and actually not feel as much pain. Obviously, there's days where we're having issues and my back is not feeling it. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll listen. So pain level wise, after the reduction, they gave me enough codeine to last for 7 days. I think they wanted me to take it every 6 hours for 7 days. Or is it every 4 hours? It was crazy. It was a crazy amount of codeine they gave me. And I literally only took it for 3 days to help me sleep. I am a stomach sleeper. I sleep on my stomach. Even before my reduction, I was preparing myself. I was like, you need to sleep on your back. Don't even sleep on your side. You have to sleep on your back. And I just couldn't do it. First night I slept in my bed and I kept waking up because even though I had pillows around me, I kept waking up because I was rolling over. I was trying to get to my stomach and I would wake up in pain. I was laying on myself. So I ended up sleeping on the couch in the living room because then I had no room to move. I had all the pillows. I had no room to actually move. But the codeine did help with me just knocking out and not even dealing with moving at night. So that was definitely a plus. But other than that, I did not take it as many times a day as they wanted me to or for as many days. Like, it was crazy. But again, everybody's pain level is different. You may come out of it, you may need the codeine for 7 days or whatever they end up prescribing you for 7 days. For me, I definitely didn't. I didn't need it. The first 3 days, I wasn't allowed to take a shower. I've heard other people say that their doctor wouldn't allow them to take a shower for 4 days. For me, it was 3. I decided not to take it for 4 days just because I was kind of scared. I took my shower on the 4th of July, and here's where the oozing and blood or whatever, but I took the bra off and I needed to replace the gauze. So I got all the gauze ready on the counter, so when I got out I could just shove the gauze in, and they were all really yellow and gross, but I was already changing them out a lot, but I was just like, they're so gross. I was already grossed out about the gauze for a couple days leading up to that. And then when I got in the shower, we had gotten unscented soap for me to wash my body with, just because we don't want scented soap in with those stitches and everything. And I had a white washcloth with me, and I wasn't feeling too well while I was getting into the shower, but I was thinking that I was getting dizzy because of the fog of the shower, so I ignored it. And I put the soap on the washcloth. It got a little lathered, and when I touched my breast and I pulled it away, it was yellow. And I was like, that is gross. And it's just because oozing plasma is trying to fix itself. It was a huge surgery. It was literally trying to fix itself. So that is why I was really grossed out by it. And as I'm cleaning myself, I was like, I don't feel right. I had to get out of the shower. I faint very easy. If I'm not feeling right in the slightest bit, I will faint. If I pull something in my neck, I will faint. So it's completely normal. I got out of the shower. I was trying to put on I got the bra on, no problem, because that was the first thing. I was like, if I faint, I don't want to be naked. So I got my bra on, and I'm sitting there trying to I got one arm in a button down sleeve. I'm trying to get the other one in. I yell for my mom, and she comes over and she's all, what's wrong? And she sees I'm pale, and I'm about to faint, and she's all, everything okay? I'm all, no, it's not. My dad comes over, he's all, what's wrong? And he's holding apple juice, and she grabbed his apple juice, gave it to me, and she'll drink this. Literally, when I'm about to faint, the only thing that helps is sugar. So I know that if I'm ever put in a situation where I may faint, like getting a tattoo, getting a piercing, whatever, where I may not feel right after or during, I know to have candy or some type of sugary substance with me that will bring me up. I even carry around little like granny caramel candies in my purse, just in case if I'm ever not feeling right, I can shove one in my mouth, because it's like a panic attack that literally makes me like faint. Like instead of flight or fight, my body just says, we'll make this easy, just knock out. So it really sucks. I feel like one of those fainting goats. When something bad is happening, my body is just like faint, and I feel like those goats. I am a fainting goat. So it all makes sense. She gave me the apple juice. We got me dressed. I was able to go back out, get more apple juice just to make sure I wouldn't faint again. And it was totally fine. When we went and saw my surgeon for the checkup, we had mentioned that I almost fainted due to the plasma. And I was like, it was a lot. Is that normal? And she was like, yes, it is normal. So I actually wanted to put tubes in you because they were supposed to be drainage tubes. She had discussed with us before the surgery drainage tubes, but my mom was so disturbed by it, and she was like, you need to tell her about it. I'm not helping her with drainage tubes. And she was like, well, Annisa will be knocked out and on medication, so she won't understand anything I tell her about drainage tubes or how to fix them or clean them out. So I would have to tell you, and she would most likely need help. So I think she took that into note and decided not to give me the tubes, because she said she did want to give me tubes, but she decided not to. So I think my mother was at blame for that one, but I don't blame her, because drainage tubes are really gross, and having to drain those for 4 or 5 days seems really disgusting. I probably needed tubes. That's probably why there was so much plasma and discharge, but whatever. I was fine. I didn't faint and hit my head. I went back to watching Carrie after that. The original Carrie, not the new one. I healed really well. My nipples were different sizes, as I know it's a weird topic. They were different sizes initially when she did the surgery. But with the healing process, she said, okay, once you're fully healed, I want to go back in, fix that, do a scar revision, and give you another lift, because I had swollen so much that I sagged. When you get a reduction, you get a lift, and I was so swollen that I sagged. So she wanted to go in and do all of that. So she did a scar revision. She fixed my nipples, so now they're the same size, and she did the scar revision and everything. And I healed very quickly. It was a 40-minute procedure. It really wasn't that long. It was in December of the same month, in the same year of 2017. It was super quick. I did get a rash with both surgeries. It was a really weird, itchy, heat rash type thing. But I'm really sensitive. I have really sensitive skin. It could have been anything she used on me. I could have been allergic to. It could have been God knows what. I got a heat rash with both, and she was just like, this rash is so weird. Let's just give you whatever. I don't even remember if it was a topical medication or if it was a pill that she gave me, but I just remember she gave me something and it worked and went away with both of them. So it was annoying, but wasn't bad enough where I remember it. I just remember there was a stupid rash, and she was like, wow, here's this, and it went away. I don't even remember how long they lasted or anything. It was literally, it wasn't even that bad. How I feel now. I'm grateful to have gotten it done. If I had to get it done again, I would. I have read that there's been women who have gotten done really young, who after having kids or just with age have had to go back and get it done again. If that happens, so be it. I will get it done again. There was no issue with it. It was a great experience. I'm happy. I wear so many clothes that I wasn't able to wear before. I feel a lot more confident in my body. At the moment of getting it done, it was strictly physical pain I was thinking about, but looking back, there was a lot of mental pain that was associated with my breasts. I was 15, a freshman. I was 14, a freshman in high school, and I was being called out for my breasts. I was being mistaken as being older just because I was really curvy, and my breasts added to my curviness. My breasts were always stared at before my face, and I was middle school or high school. That was always happening. And there was just a lot of issues with it. I had nicknames because of my breasts. It was annoying. So there was a lot of mental things with it too. And it was just great to get it done. There was a lot of mental pain to it. And I think that added to the physical pain. I think because of how much pain I was in and resentment I had towards them, I made that physical and added to the physical pain. So yes, they caused a lot of physical pain with my scoliosis and everything, but the resentment added on top of it, and I made that pain worse, if that makes sense. But that's how I feel. So it definitely was crazy, and it's just crazy. And I get a lot of questions about it too. I still tell everyone I had a breast reduction. I get a lot of questions, people asking, did you have a breast reduction now, or are you saying you're getting one? Because I still am busty. And then I'll show them pictures of me before, and they shut up. They're like, oh, you have had one. Okay. I'm like, yes, I did. And my prom pictures, my homecoming pictures of my senior year are the best representations of that, because at that point I had already known I was getting a breast reduction. in those timelines where I was already thinking about it and I'm working towards getting an appointment with a doctor to see one and talk about one and whatever. So I was like, we're going out with a bang, we're saying goodbye to these things, we're getting them off. And before that, I was always trying to cover them up and hide them. It was my senior year, and I was like, if this is my life, this is my life. Then also I was like, I'm getting them taken off. You guys are going away. Say goodbye. So they were like revenge dresses for them, if that makes sense. So those are the best dresses to show people when I talk about it. When it comes to my back pain, I'd had back pain before and I still have back pain. So my scoliosis, this shoulder is higher than this one. So my spine curves like this, and they say it's not that bad. It's not bad enough to ever need a brace or anything. I'm also past puberty, so it's not like you can get a brace to correct it. But it's not as bad where you need surgery or anything, but it's more in between of bad and good. It's still enough to hurt me, but it's not bad enough to where I need surgery. So with how big my breasts were before, wearing a bra, not wearing a bra, whatever, standing for a long period of time, this shoulder would go numb. I get an icy pain down my back. I would be standing and doing dishes, doing things that would be causing me to be moving my arms, whatever I'm doing, moving my arms. It would go numb. I get icy pain down my back within 5 minutes, and literally 5 minutes. I timed it at one point. I started timing it, and it was always 5 minutes if I was doing dishes. I get so much pain that I'd have to stop and stretch and do whatever, go back to what I was doing, and 5 minutes after that. And dishes were so prolonged because of my back pain. It was awful. It literally caused a lot of pain, and since my reduction, I have not had that icy numbness down my back since. I was able to go on and become a hairdresser, which that's a lot of movement. I knew that with becoming a hairdresser, I would never be able to become a hairdresser due to that icy numbness I get, because I would not be able to blow dry someone's hair and have to stop every 5 minutes to stretch and do whatever I need to do, because that person would then be sitting there for 3 hours to just get their hair blow dried. Like by the time they'd be almost done, the hair would be fully dried and frizzy. Like there would be no point. So I needed it done. I wanted to become a hairdresser. I needed it done. So I was very thankful to get it done, and I have never had that pain since. If anything, it feels a lot better when I am stretching it and moving my arms and putting it above my head and doing whatever I need to do. It feels a lot better. But that extra weight, that 5 pounds that they took off in total, definitely was a huge difference. So it's crazy what that did. Okay, and on to the question portion, because everybody always asks questions and they're very important. I had a lot of questions I had no one to go to, so I just went in it blind. And so many people have questions and they're so important, and if you have questions because you're nervous, they need to be answered. So here are the common questions I get, and if I continue to get questions, I can continue to make videos and answer them and do what I need to do, because I know so many people have millions of questions just like I did. So first question, what size am I now and what was I before? I was never officially sized 4 because we really were only getting bras from Walmart or Target, because bigger bras are really expensive. Like, it's awful. They're really expensive. So we were getting really cheap bras that actually probably added to the pain and everything that I had from Walmart and Target, mostly Walmart, because I think Walmart had my size. Target never had bigger sizes. I think towards the end, when I was getting my reduction, Target started holding my size, but I was like, what's the point? Like, I'm gonna get a reduction in literally 2 months. There's no point in buying these. But Walmart always had my size. And we believe I was like between F or G cup, maybe even an H. So I was really large. I hung like naturally. Here, let me lower. So I'm wearing this push-up bra right now, but even if I take this off, naturally my breast will sit here. My belly button is right here. And before my reduction, my breasts hung all the way down here, like to my belly button or a little bit past. So that's a huge change. I know my camera's shaking. It's on the tripod and it's shaking. But that's a huge difference in its own, just the way it sits, like they sit naturally. Huge difference. It gave me a lift. They took out so much fat. Amazing. Back before my reduction, I would go to the mall with my friends and they would go into Victoria's Secret. I remember I was sized there one time. I don't remember what size they gave me, but they were like, we don't have your size, but I bet we have your size in underwear. I was like, I'm not buying underwear here, I'm fine. I know that you guys don't even have, and my friend had told me, she's like, I bet you they have your size. It's a bra store. And I'm like, they don't have my size. And she's like, I bet they do. So she asked for them to size me. And it was embarrassing because I was like, I know they don't have my size. And she was adamant that they did. And I was like, they don't. And she was so adamant that she went and requested for them to size me. It was so annoying because I knew they did not. But I was sized, and they told me in the most weirdest way, well, we may have your size in underwear. Okay. And like, so annoying. So we all started shopping after that, and they all bought like 2 or 3 bras each, and I walked out with nothing. I was looking at perfume, but I was like, even their perfume's expensive, and I was like, no, I'm fine, I don't need anything here. After my reduction, I went back to Victoria's Secret, got sized. I was able to get like a bra, and I was able to fit into 2 bralettes, which I never thought I would ever be able to wear a bralette. Now I see that they make bralettes for bigger sized women, but before, when bralettes were becoming really big and a lot of really skinny girls were wearing bralettes, no one had really jumped on that like curve for like, let's make them also for bigger women and bustier women. They weren't really making them, so I was never able to even like look at one. Now they make them. I have so many bralettes that fit so comfortably. When I had gotten the 2 from Victoria's Secret, they didn't even fit correctly. Like neither, like one like dug into my skin really hard, and then the other one was like, didn't even really cover me, but I was so like, it fits. I can wear it. And I had my gift card, so I was like, I'm just gonna get them, and I was so excited. But then I actually got a bra that literally fit. It was perfect. It was a cup underwire bra. I think I still have it. Or maybe I got rid of it because it broke. I don't know. I had it for a very long time though, because it actually fit. But bralettes and everything never fit me, and now they do. And I get all my bralettes from Torrid. Most of my bras from Torrid. I also get a lot of my bras from Target though, because they do have a lot of great sizes for bras at Target. So, but anyway, now I am a 42 double D. I am actually wearing a strapless bra from Torrid. It's a nude one. I love it so much. Never thought I'd be able to wear a strapless bra, but here I am. It's under wire, but it's literally like, has like 4 clips on the back, and I'm like, that's how you know it's gonna hold you up. It does its work. But it's a 42 double D. I wear a 42 double D. It's perfect. But it's just crazy. I wasn't able to wear sports bras before, and now I can. I get most of my sports bras from Torrid because they're so comfy. And they fit so well. It's crazy. It's crazy the difference between sizes I was. And even though I'm still really big, I don't feel like I am. I look at like after my reduction, I was like, I'm an A cup. And I knew I wasn't. I knew I was a double D, but I was like, I feel so small, I'm an A cup. Is this how A cups feel? And they were like, no, it's not how we feel at all. But I swore up and down, that's how you all feel. Now I look at myself, I'm like, I'm a B. I know I'm not a B, but I just feel like looking at how big I was before to now, I'm like, this is how a B feels. But I know it's wrong. I know I'm wrong, but it just feels like that, especially after going from that big to this small. Even though this isn't small to most people, it's small to me. If you've had a reduction, you know what I'm talking about. If you're planning on getting a reduction, you will know what I'm talking about because it's amazing. It is such a crazy feeling. Scarring. I get that in variation of questions. How's the scarring? How do your scars look? Just scarring in general, just question mark, scarring, question mark. I didn't mind the scars. I wasn't scared of scarring in general. I was more scared of being in pain for the rest of my life over having scars. And I think that's a huge thing that needs to be talked about rather than just saying, oh, well, aesthetically, you'll have scars and it'll be really gross and annoying. It's like, what's grosser, being in pain the rest of your life and not being able to actively do things and hating your body, or having a few scars here or there? I'll take scarring. The way they go in is that they make an anchor, so they cut around your nipple, they go down, and then underneath your boobs, you literally have an anchor. It's really not that bad. Like, it honestly isn't that bad. When you first get the reduction, you look at it and you're like, that looks like a lot of scarring, it looks bad. But you just got it, and it's healing, and as scars heal, they keep going. So I would definitely talk to your doctor or your surgeon about what you can start putting on it when it's allowed to start putting stuff on your breasts, on the scarring, to help with scarring. If you have some ideas, I've heard bio oil is great, avocado oil, pumpkin oil is really great for just like keeping elasticity in your breasts and also scarring. I was using pumpkin oil for a while. I loved it. I love the smell of it. I love how it felt. I did notice some scarring kind of fading, but I'm so bad about keeping up with things like that. I just stopped using it. I still have it. I'm so bad about keeping up with it, and it just smelled so amazing. I definitely should get back into it, but my scars aren't even that bad. Like, I can't show you what my scars look like, but they're really not that bad. And I keloid. And if you don't know what keloid is, it's when you get a scar, it bumps. Instead of just like having just a weird, flat scar, you have a bump. So my sides underneath are keloid, and initially everything was keloid, but as the years have gone over, they've all flattened out except for underneath. Underneath has keloid and stayed keloid, but I'm really not worried about it. I understand everybody has their own thing and everybody's worried about it to their own extent. They aren't even that noticeable to me, number one, but also I just look at them and I just think this is better than being in pain and having a numb shoulder. So to each their own. Yes, there is scarring. Short answer, yes, there is scarring. You will have scars. It is a surgery. It's a very invasive surgery, so you will have scarring. Sucks to tell you that, but if you are in pain and all you think about is how you need these off, this is your best option and you should get the surgery and just kind of look at the scars and think, this is something great I went through. This is a souvenir, a reminder, warrior scars, whatever. Like, the reminder of how big your breasts were before and that you got over them and you got rid of them. So that's just my take on scars. I've just never understood that mindset. And that's not saying that it's a wrong mindset. I'm just saying I've never understood it just because I just don't think that way. I think that the pain was a lot worse than scarring. So that's just me. There is scars. Short answer. Did I lose any feeling or get any hypersensitivity? Actually, yes. When I was healing, I got hypersensitive, and think in this nipple, I lost feeling in this one, which was super weird. And then as I kept healing, and I was mostly just thinking about how I felt in those. I wasn't thinking about my breasts in general. I was just thinking about my nipples. But then as healing kept going, they both evened out. This one was less hypersensitive. This one actually came back. So they're normal now, but I did lose feeling underneath, just underneath in general. It's gone. I don't feel it. It doesn't bother me. It is annoying at times. Like if I have an itch and I go to itch it, I can't itch it because I don't feel it. It's really weird. I can't explain it. So yes, I did lose feeling. It's really isn't that important to me because it's underneath. I had done something recently and I accidentally stabbed myself under there and I didn't even feel it. Like my dog will jump on me and she'll scratch me and I'll go and like look in the mirror, like I'll go take a shower and I'll see there's a cut and I'm like, I didn't even feel that. And it won't be like bloody, but it'll just be like a cut, and I'm like, I didn't even feel that she did that. I think I was using like a safety pin and I had pushed it towards myself and I accidentally stabbed myself. I didn't even feel that I stabbed myself, and it's just really weird. It's just a weird feeling of not having feeling. I mean, at least it's in the spot that's like not really that important. To me, it's really not that important, but I don't know, it's just really awkward and it's really weird. And she told me, my surgeon told me, is if I don't get feeling back ever, it's normal, and that there's a lot of people who go through really huge surgeries for breast reductions and never get feeling back in their nipples or their whole breast in general. It's normal. But I have feeling all the way till here. I just don't feel anything. So yeah, I lost feeling. It's probably like the only big downside that I think of. I always try to look at it in a positive light. Well, at least it's better than feeling pain. I feel nothing there, but it is a downside because it is really annoying at times where I try to itch myself, or if I get scratched and I'm like, oh, I didn't know I was bleeding, or I don't know, it's weird. It's a weird one. So yeah, downside. Okay, and then last question, just to wrap this up, because I know this is going to be pretty long. What do I recommend for preparation of the surgery? I made a full list, so I'm just going to read off the list because I don't want to miss anything. It's super important. I did not prepare to the fullest extent that I should have, and these are all things that you should prepare for because I didn't, and I wish I had. And I wish I'd thought about these things. Some of these things, yes, I did prepare for. Some of these things I did not. And I'm like, wow, I wish I had. Something I didn't prepare for was that if you have a messy room or a living room, or if you should live in a messy house, clean it up before your reduction. My room was a mess. I could not get in here, and that was a huge thing. So after my reduction, I slept in the living room, but there were times where I needed to come in here to get changed, to grab things, whatever. And it was so messy, and I was literally terrified of falling. If you fall, you bust your stitches, and that's not what you need. That's literally the last thing you need. You trip, you could accidentally like grab something, you can grab it wrong, tense up, pop your stitches. Not what you need. So you definitely should clean everything, or even just make like a trail so you can get to things properly. If you don't want to clean, just make like a pathway. Just do that. But definitely clean things up so you don't almost fall, or you do fall. Like, just be careful. Next one, make sure all your food or anything you'll need is basically eye level or within reach, because you are not allowed, they'll tell you, you can't reach upward. You can't reach overhead because this is pulling upward and it will pop your stitches. So you cannot reach overhead. So everything you want, if your cereal is up in a cupboard above your head, if there's chips up there that you know you'll want, bring it all down so you can just grab. You know, even bending over was kind of awkward. If I need to get into the fridge and bend over for things, that was kind of gross. I just didn't feel right. I felt like it hurt initially, then it just started feeling gross because I was like, I just didn't want. My body just felt gross at a time. It didn't hurt that bad. It didn't really hurt, but it just felt gross just to be bending over when my body was so stiff feeling and trying to grab stuff. So make sure everything's at eye level, which will help you immensely, and it'll keep you from having to go to the hospital and pop because your stitches were popped. If you live by yourself or with a roommate, I definitely recommend meal prepping. I live with my family, so my dad was cooking, so I was really fortunate for that. But even then, like for breakfast, he'd make me eggs or whatever, but for lunch, I was kind of on my own. So I was really eating like just cup of noodles, and you should definitely be eating healthy things because healthy foods will help you heal faster. And if you want to get back to work or working out or doing whatever, it's definitely great to like be eating right to then get back out there. So I wish I had I was 17, I didn't know what meal prepping was, but now that I do, if I had to go through it again, I would definitely meal prep for 2 weeks or a week and a half, depending on what food I'm making and how long it can last for. But I would definitely meal prep and make sure it's all ready. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Maybe it's just lunch and dinner, breakfast, eat granola bar. I don't know. It's hard to cook and you'll be really tired because your body's healing and you won't want to cook, and then you'll only want to eat out or just eat like chips or something. And again, those things aren't the best for you, and also it'll save you money. So just thinking smart. Just meal prep, make yourself some broccoli. If you don't like broccoli, cut up an apple. I don't know. Make sure before your reduction, I know most of us who have bigger breasts, we don't own button-down shirts. Make sure you buy quite a few of them. And you also need zip-up sports bras. So button-up shirts and zip-up sports bras. I think they make clip sports bras, but I didn't see any of those or buy them. I only had zip-up ones. When you're getting a reduction, they will request that you bring a zip-up bra. At least they did for me, because when you're done with your reduction, they kind of like slide you into it and they zip it up. And so you're not struggling behind you to clip anything because it will pop, and you're not struggling into a sports bra because pop. So you need a zip-up sports bra that's just easy to put on, zip up, and then with button-down shirts, you can just put your arms in, button up, and you're done. So find something that you know will be in your size, because for the most part, I knew that if I tried to put on a button-up shirt, it would fit right here to my stomach and it wouldn't fit past my chest. So for the most part, I had a lot of button-up shirts that were like 3 or 4 times actual my actual size. When wearing them after my reduction, it was crazy because they were huge on me, and I was like, I feel like I lost weight, but I only lost 5 pounds. So it was really crazy. I only had 2 sports bras. I definitely wish I had like 4 or 5 just because of washing purposes. You can get them from Torrid. They always sell out Torrid. The ones I got from Target were really lame, and they were okay. I think for a time being they were fine. I don't know if they're still at Target, but I can't wear them now, and because I bought them then, and I can't wear them now because now they pop and they just don't. They were cheapy bras. They were cheap bras. I say cheapy. They were cheapy kind of bras, so they weren't great for after my reduction to just keep wearing. If you want long lasting ones, I love this one from Torrid. It's got 3 clips, so you clip it first and then you zip it up, and it really holds you and keeps going. You can definitely get like a size up than you think you'll need. Just like, it's really hard to like figure out what size bra you'll need for after your reduction. Is super weird trying to figure it out. We got, I think, an extra large for me. This is a 3, but that's Torrid sizing. It's really hard. You just have to kind of play around with it, maybe like press it against yourself and just kind of check it, talk to your surgeon about how you go about that. It's definitely weird trying to like buy a bra for a future size It was weird. I don't remember really how we did it, but I remember it was really awkward. But I definitely recommend getting a bunch of button-down shirts and a bunch of zip-up bras, because especially zip-up bras that you know you'll be wearing in the future, because you will love them. I never knew they existed until my reduction, and when I found them during my reduction, I was in love. Obsessed. I still am obsessed. And then my last tip is super weird, but I loved it. Use, instead of gauze, Maxi Pads. And here's why. I would put gauze in my bra and they would move, they'd shift. I would have wet spots from the draining of the plasma, whatever, and the gauze wasn't picking it up. I would even pack myself with gauze, would not pick up. Then I think we had ran out of gauze or something, or my mom was like, just use a Maxi Pad. Something happened and I was like, I'm just gonna use a Maxi Pad. And you stick it to the inside of your bra and you stick it to the place that you know will leak. So I think I was using like 4 Maxi Pads or even 2. I was using 2 Maxi Pads and gauze. So I was putting the Maxi Pads, sticking them to the inside of the bra here underneath each one, because that's where I was leaking the most, because the underneath incisions are what was oozing the most. So I was using giant Maxi Pads underneath, and I was putting some gauze up here for like my nipple area. I'm telling you, best decision ever. It literally made so much sense. It was soaking up so much plasma, more so than the gauze, and they weren't moving. They don't move. They stick. Why don't they make sticky gauze? Do they? That's an investment though. Like, you'd have to go buy that. The pads, like, my mom buys the giant like thing of them, so she doesn't have to buy them later from Walmart or whatever. Like, you have a giant thing of them. Here, just use them. Perfect. They were literally perfect. Worked so well. I recommend everyone uses Maxi Pads instead of gauze from now on. Maxi Pads or tampons, however you can figure out how to use tampons, figure it out. I don't know. Use tampons for nosebleeds. I don't know. It works so well. They really are absorbent. That is it for the questions. I know there's so many more questions that are asked, but just to fit it into this video, it was a lot. And if you have any more questions, please comment down below and ask. You can also privately message me on Instagram and ask me. Here's my Instagram right here. If you don't have an Instagram, if you have a TikTok, because a lot of people are moving towards TikTok, here's my TikTok. You can privately message me on there. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. And again, if you have any more questions, please ask and I will answer. I will probably do another video where I answer very common questions, part 2. I am just overly grateful for 4 years of being 5 pounds less on my chest. I know I've gained weight overall in other places, but my chest is definitely different. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.